If you are over 60, there is one mistake with fruits that could quietly sabotage your health. Most people think fruits are always safe, always healthy, and the more, the better. But after 60, your body processes sugar very differently than it did when you were 30 or 40. And certain fruits, if you eat them too often or in the wrong way, can send your blood sugar levels skyrocketing and increase your risk of diabetes, weight gain, and even cardiovascular problems. Stay with me until the end, because today we will break down exactly which fruits you need to limit, why they cause these spikes, what science says about it, and what you can do instead to enjoy fruit safely and keep your energy, your brain, and your heart in great condition. Before we dive in, I want to know, how old are you? Write your age down in the comments below. I love to see who is watching, and it helps us build a community of people supporting each other in living healthier, longer lives. And while you're there, don't forget to subscribe to the channel and hit the like button so you don't miss any of our future videos. Let's start with the problem. Your body's metabolism changes dramatically as you age. After 60, your pancreas, which produces insulin, may not be as efficient as it used to be. Insulin is the hormone that helps regulate your blood sugar by moving glucose from your bloodstream into your cells. With age, many people develop a condition known as insulin resistance, where your cells don't respond as well to insulin. This means that even small amounts of sugar in your food can result in higher blood glucose levels than before. If you add fruits that are naturally high in sugar on top of that, your body struggles to keep up. And that's why certain fruits that were harmless when you were younger might now be risky. Science supports this. In a large study published in the journal Diabetologia, researchers found that people over 50 who consumed fruits with a high glycemic index had significantly higher risks of developing type 2 diabetes compared to those who focused on low glycemic fruits. Glycemic index, or GI, is a measure of how fast a food raises your blood sugar. The higher the GI, the faster and sharper the spike. This is the key problem with some fruits. So which fruits are the biggest culprits? Bananas, especially very ripe ones, can send your sugar soaring. Grapes, despite being small, are packed with glucose and fructose. Pineapple, watermelon, and mango are also very high in sugar and have a high glycemic index. Even dates and dried fruits, which many people eat as a healthy snack, are essentially concentrated sugar bombs. For someone over 60 with a slowing metabolism, these can be dangerous if eaten often or in large amounts. A single handful of raisins, for example, can contain as much sugar as a can of soda. Surprised? Write in the comments, do you eat dried fruits often? Have you noticed how they affect your energy or your weight? Now, let me share a quick story of a patient. Let's call her Margaret. She was 67, loved her daily fruit snacks, and thought she was making the healthiest choice. She ate bananas, grapes, and sometimes dried apricots every single day. She wasn't overweight, but during a routine checkup, her doctor found that her fasting blood sugar was high and her HbA1c, the 3-month average blood sugar marker, was in the pre-diabetes range. Margaret was shocked. She didn't eat candy or pastries, so she couldn't believe fruit could be the cause. But when she cut down her high-sugar fruits and swapped them for berries, apples, and pears, within 6 months, her blood sugar returned to normal. She didn't have to give up fruit. She just had to make smarter choices. What happens inside your body when you eat too much of these high-sugar fruits? First, your blood sugar rises quickly. Your pancreas releases a lot of insulin to bring it down. Over time, these repeated spikes and crashes wear out your insulin-producing cells. This not only increases your diabetes risk, but it also contributes to inflammation, which is now known as a root cause of heart disease, joint pain, and even cognitive decline. Your body doesn't just store the extra sugar as fat around your belly. It also damages your blood vessels and nerves. That's why people with poor blood sugar control often experience neuropathy, vision problems, and higher risks of stroke. Let's look at some numbers. According to the American Diabetes Association, nearly 1 in 4 people over 65 already have diabetes, and almost half are pre-diabetic. That means that even if you feel healthy, you might already be at risk. And here we're as the scary part. Many people don't know it until it's too late. That's why controlling your fruit choices is a small but powerful way to protect yourself. Now, this doesn't mean you should cut out fruit altogether. Fruits are rich in vitamins, minerals, antioxidants, and fiber. They can boost your immunity, protect against cancer, and improve digestion. The key is choosing wisely. Low glycemic fruits like berries, apples, pears, peaches, plums, and citrus fruits are much safer. They release sugar slowly into your bloodstream and often come with a lot of fiber, which helps control the spike. Blueberries, for example, are high in anthocyanins, powerful antioxidants that support brain health and memory. Strawberries help reduce inflammation. Apples provide pectin, a fiber that can lower cholesterol. These are the fruits you should enjoy daily. A common myth is that natural sugar is different from added sugar. Many people believe that because fruit sugar is natural, it can't harm you. But your body doesn't want to see a big difference between the fructose in grapes and the fructose in candy. It's all broken down into glucose eventually. The only difference is that fruit also contains fiber and micronutrients. That's why portion size still matters. 1 or 2 servings of fruit is healthy. 5 servings of grapes in one sitting, that's a sugar overload. Have you ever felt sleepy after eating a big fruit salad? That's a sign your blood sugar may have spiked and then crashed. Write in the comments if you've experienced that. There's also the issue of fruit juices. Many people think drinking orange juice or apple juice is the same as eating the whole fruit. But when you juice it, you remove most of the fiber. What's left is a concentrated sugar drink that hits your bloodstream fast. A glass of orange juice can contain as much sugar as a soda. If you love juice, limit it to a small glass and make sure it's fresh, not from a carton. Better yet, eat the whole fruit instead. Let's talk about practical strategies. First, timing matters. Eating fruit on an empty stomach can cause bigger spikes than when you eat it with protein or healthy fats. For example, pairing apple slices with a handful of walnuts slows down sugar absorption. Second, watch ripeness. The riper the fruit, the higher the sugar content. A greenish banana has much less sugar than a fully brown spotted one. Third, portion size is everything. You don't have to avoid watermelon altogether, but instead of 3 large slices, enjoy a small cup. Finally, always combine fruit with a balanced diet rich in vegetables, lean proteins, and whole grains. Now, you might wonder, what about fruit supplements or powders? There's a growing market for things like concentrated acai or goji powders. The problem is, these often remove fiber and concentrate sugar. If you're interested in boosting your antioxidant intake, it's much better to eat whole berries. However, if you do take supplements, make sure they are labeled as low sugar or sugar-free. Some people over 60 also benefit from omega-3 supplements, which improve insulin sensitivity and protect the heart. I'll leave a link in the description below for a trusted source of omega-3 if you want to check it out. Another myth is that dried fruit is just fruit. But when you remove water, you shrink the fruit, concentrating the sugar. A small handful of raisins might seem harmless, but it can contain the sugar equivalent of several large grapes. The same goes for dried figs, dates, and apricots. If you do eat dried fruits, treat them as a dessert, not a snack. Some people also ask, what about diabetics? If you already have diabetes, you need to be even more cautious. Keep your fruit portions small, avoid fruit juices, and focus on low GI fruits. Always monitor your blood sugar after trying a new fruit so you can see how your body responds. Every person is different. I'd love to hear your experience. Do certain fruits make you feel tired or give you a sugar rush? Write your story in the comments. It helps others learn from real experiences. Before we wrap up, let's look at one more example. A study published in BMJ followed more than 180,000 people for 20 years. They found that people who ate more blueberries, apples, and pears had a lower risk of developing type 2 diabetes. But those who ate more fruit juice and high GI fruits had a significantly higher risk. The takeaway is clear: fruit is good, but the type of fruit matters a lot more than most people realize, especially after 60. So, what should you do starting today? First, don't panic. You don't need to cut fruit completely. Just be smart. Swap bananas for berries, grapes for apples, pineapple for citrus. Watch your portion sizes. Avoid fruit juices, and never think of dried fruits as guilt-free. Pair fruits with protein and healthy fats, and most importantly, listen to your body. If you take one thing away from this video, let it be this: after 60, your health is too important to leave to chance. Make small, mindful adjustments, and they can add years of energy and vitality to your life. Leave a comment below if you've had a similar experience with blood sugar and fruit. What fruits work best for you? What tips do you use to keep your sugar under control? Let's share and help each other out. And don't forget to subscribe, because every week we bring you practical, science-backed tips to keep you healthy and active at any age. And one last thing. If you're looking for supplements to support your health, I recommend checking out omega-3 or turmeric capsules. These are natural anti-inflammatory options that many people over 60 find helpful. I've placed an affiliate link in the description so you can explore trusted products that support your journey to better health. You might be wondering, how do doctors actually measure the effect of fruits on your blood sugar? One of the most common tests is something called the oral glucose tolerance test. In this test, patients drink a sweet liquid, and doctors track how their blood sugar rises and falls over 2 hours. Interestingly, some researchers now run similar experiments with different fruits. For example, they give one group of older adults bananas and another group apples, then compare how quickly blood sugar spikes. Results consistently show that bananas, grapes, and watermelon cause sharper spikes, while apples, pears, and berries lead to much gentler curves. This is why choosing the right fruit is not just theory, it's proven in controlled studies. Let me share another story, this time about John, a 72-year-old retired teacher. John loved watermelon. Every summer he would eat big slices daily, believing it kept him hydrated and healthy. But over time he noticed afternoon crashes. He felt exhausted, sometimes even shaky. His doctor tested his blood sugar and found that his glucose was swinging up and down dramatically. The culprit? Too much watermelon on an empty stomach. When John replaced some of his fruit with a mix of berries and nuts, his afternoon crashes disappeared. He still enjoyed watermelon, but in small cups paired with protein. His energy and mood stabilized, and he told me he finally felt like himself again. Have you ever noticed feeling tired or moody after eating fruit? Write in the comments if this happens to you. I want to know if others share John S.'s experience. Another fascinating fact is how digestion slows with age. After 60, your stomach empties more slowly, and enzymes break down food at a different pace. This means that big sugar hits from fruit can linger in your bloodstream longer than in younger people. This extended exposure can damage delicate blood vessels, especially in your eyes, kidneys, and nerves. That's why diabetic complications often affect these organs first. Protecting them starts with everyday choices like limiting sugar-heavy fruits. Now let's look at fruit in combination with other foods. Did you know that eating fruit together with protein can dramatically change your blood sugar response? For example, if you eat grapes alone, your sugar might spike rapidly. But if you eat those grapes with a slice of cheese or a few almonds, the fat and protein slow digestion, and the sugar enters your bloodstream much more slowly. This is why the traditional Mediterranean diet, rich in fresh fruit, nuts, and olive oil, has been linked to lower rates of diabetes and heart disease, even in older adults. There is also a cultural element. In some parts of Asia, people often finish their meal with fruit. In the West, fruit is often eaten as a standalone snack. Studies suggest that eating fruit as part of a balanced meal reduces the negative effects compared to snacking on it by itself. This small shift in habit could make a big difference in your health after 60. Let's go deeper into science. Fructose, the main sugar in many fruits, is metabolized in your liver. When you eat a lot of fructose at once, your liver turns some of it into fat, which can accumulate over time and lead to fatty liver disease. Doctors now see a rise in non-alcoholic fatty liver disease among older adults, and one contributing factor is high sugar consumption, not just from soda, but also from excess fruit and juices. So while fruit is natural, moderation still matters. Now let's tackle another myth. Smoothies are always healthy. Many people over 60 blend bananas, mangoes, and juice into smoothies, thinking it's a superfood drink. The problem is, blending breaks down fiber, and when you mix multiple high-sugar fruits together, the sugar load can be extreme. A typical fruit smoothie can easily contain more sugar than a dessert. If you love smoothies, focus on low-sugar bases like spinach, cucumber, avocado, and then add just a handful of berries. This way you still get flavor but without the sugar overload. I also want to highlight a patient named Rosa, 69 years old, who had arthritis and constant joint pain. She was trying to eat healthy and drank a daily glass of packaged fruit juice. She thought the vitamin C was helping her joints, but her inflammation markers kept rising. Once she replaced juice with whole citrus fruits like oranges and grapefruits, eaten with breakfast, her inflammation gradually went down. Her doctor explained that the concentrated sugars in juice were fueling inflammation, while whole fruit gave her fiber and slower absorption. This shows how small changes in fruit choices can influence not just blood sugar, but even pain and mobility. Speaking of inflammation, many researchers now link sugar spikes to silent inflammation. This type of inflammation doesn't always cause pain immediately, but it slowly damages tissues over years. Silent inflammation is considered one of the drivers of aging itself. So when you control sugar spikes, you're not only protecting against diabetes, you're literally slowing down parts of the aging process. Another key aspect is sleep. Did you know that eating high-sugar fruits in the evening can affect your sleep quality? When your blood sugar spikes and then crashes, your body releases stress hormones like cortisol and adrenaline to stabilize you. These hormones can make it harder to fall asleep or cause you to wake up during the night. Many older adults already struggle with insomnia, and unknowingly, that evening, fruit bowl might be making it worse. If you crave something sweet at night, a few slices of kiwi or a small handful of berries are much better options. In fact, kiwi contains serotonin, which can actually help with sleep. What about weight management? After 60, metabolism slows, and losing weight becomes harder. Fruits high in sugar and calories, like mangoes, bananas, and dried dates, can quietly add hundreds of calories to your daily intake. Over weeks and months, this adds up. Excess weight is not just a cosmetic issue. It raises your risk of joint problems, high blood pressure, and heart disease. Choosing low-sugar fruits helps you keep your weight stable without giving up the pleasure of eating fruit. Let's explore one more patient example. George, 65, was active and went to the gym 3 times a week. He thought he could burn off any food he ate. He drank smoothies with bananas and pineapple daily. Despite exercise, he started gaining belly fat and felt more tired during workouts. His trainer suggested he check his blood sugar. To his surprise, his fasting glucose was high. George adjusted his smoothies. He swapped pineapple for spinach and cucumber, cut bananas to half, and added protein powder. Within 3 months, his belly fat decreased and his energy returned. This shows that even active older adults need to be mindful of fruit sugar. Now let's cover practical daily strategies. Imagine your ideal fruit plan at age 60 plus. Breakfast could include half a grapefruit or a few strawberries with Greek yogurt. Lunch might feature apple slices with a handful of walnuts. In the afternoon, instead of raisins, have cucumber slices with hummus. Dinner can include roasted vegetables and, if you crave something sweet, a few blueberries for dessert. This way, you still enjoy fruit, but keep your blood sugar stable all day. Let's also talk about affordability. Some people worry that berries are too expensive. Here's a tip. Frozen berries are just as nutritious as fresh ones, sometimes even more, because they're frozen right after harvest. They're cheaper, last longer, and you can add them to yogurt, oatmeal, or even water for flavor. This is an easy, cost-effective way to get antioxidants without breaking the bank. There are also regional differences. In tropical countries, fruits like mango and pineapple are staples, and older people often eat them daily. But traditionally, they eat smaller portions than what you see in Western supermarkets. Portion control is key. Even if you love tropical fruits, treat them as an occasional treat, not a mainstay. Another frequent question is about fruit and medications. Some fruits, like grapefruit, can interact with common drugs for blood pressure or cholesterol. Grapefruit can increase the level of these medications in your blood, leading to side effects. If you're taking medications, always ask your doctor if certain fruits are safe for you. This is especially important after 60, when many people are on regular prescriptions. I also want to point out that not all sugar spikes feel the same. Some people experience fatigue, while others feel jittery or even anxious. These are all signs of blood sugar swings. If you keep a simple journal of what fruits you eat and how you feel afterward, you can quickly identify which fruits your body tolerates well and which ones trigger problems. This personalized approach is one of the best tools for staying healthy after 60. Finally, let's look to the future. More and more scientists are studying longevity, how to live not just longer, but healthier. Controlling blood sugar is emerging as one of the most powerful strategies. By making smart fruit choices, you're not depriving yourself. You're investing in years of energy, clarity, and independence. That's priceless. So, remember, it's not about cutting out fruit, but about choosing wisely, watching portions, and paying attention to how your body responds. Write in the comments, what's your favorite fruit and how do you balance enjoyment with health? I'd love to hear your strategies.